you can start.
Okay. Can I ask the link also in my so
Sure,
that I
sure.
can okay.
I will send you. Antonio, you can start your live. You can start your session. Okay.
All right. Thank you
Good.
so much, Dr. Emina. So I just share the link, of course, towards to my students. So once again, I think everyone is watching also my live tonight, and it's my pleasure to be here as to be one of the speaker for tonight. So my topic that was assigned to me, it's the navigating the future of education strategies for success towards technological integration and education. But before I start my presentation, I would like to get this opportunity to say thank you so much to Dr. Emina for extending an invitation to me and also to my institution. And I'm very much grateful to share my knowledge and expertise when it comes to strategies for success in relation to education. Now, let me introduce myself to everybody. I am Professor Antonio A. Solomon Jr., and I am affiliated with the Rizal Memorial Colleges Incorporated, Davao City, Philippines, and I am the Internationalization Relation Officer of the school. So, for those people or experts or institution that would love to connect with us, do not hesitate to message me on Facebook or towards to my email. All right, so I believe that everyone is also ready for my discussion. So let me start my discussion with an overview. So, of course, technological integration in education is one of the reason in order for us to bridge the gap of learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, I am thrilled to be here today to discuss the important role of technology in shaping the future of education. As we navigate the complexities of modern learning environment, it is imperative that we strategically integrate technology to enhance educational outcome. Now, let's start my first discussion. So, technology integration and integration starting, or it will be started with what we call strategic planning. That means the increasing role of technology in education. So, what do you mean by this? So, let's take a moment to reflect on the evolution of technology in education. With that regards, many people from traditional chalkboards to interactive whiteboards and now digital platforms. These are the landscape of education that has been undergone a remarkable transformation. And today, our classroom are not just confined by physical walls, but also extend with digital outcomes and offering boundless opportunities for learning and collaboration. Now let's proceed to evolution of technology in education. So these are some traditional classroom and it was being transformed to digital learning environments. So take note that long time before, many of our students lack for opportunity to go to school, and because of that reason, many students suffer from the enjoyment and experiential learning that they deserve. So if you notice in the sample picture that I shown here in my presentation, some of the students here just only use a lump to support their learning remediation and intervention and learning. That is why now technology help us to bridge this learning curve and try to bend some lacking in education. That is why I am so proud in our school, the Rizal Memorial Colleges Incorporated, because we try our best to join and also to connect with people using technology, and we also follow the evolution of technology so that we can make a great application, great strategies, so that we can bridge the gap of learning towards to our students. Now, let me just move forward to another topic in relation to technological integration in education. We have this what we call technological transforming education. So, just for example, online learning platforms, accessibility, flexibility, and personalized learning. So these are the things that we just have to understand, because one of the most significant advancement in education technology is what we call the emergence of online learning platform. So that means that these platforms offer unparalleled accessibility, flexibility, and personalized learning experiences. And students can now engage with course materials at their own pace from anywhere in the world, opening doors to education like never before. All right. So now technology transform education. So if you notice in the picture, the student nowadays they are actually having their own mobile phones. They have their gadgets, such as for example tablets, all right, or any means of technology, so that they could still continue study even if they're at home. So meaning to say, technology has a great advantage somehow for students to continue their learning, especially the time that we are facing, like for example, natural calamities or during the time that we have pandemic. So technology play a significant role that time so that everyone could still continue the learning process of our student. Now, I would like to share with you the management practices of our institution. And I name it as what we call strategies for effective technological integration. So we have here professional development for educators, training on new tools and pedagogies. Of course, it will be too hard for us teachers to integrate the use of technology if we don't have competence on how to use it. I still believe not just an educator, but someone who has passion when it comes to teaching. I believe that it's very important that we let our teachers to be trained with different areas and scoped of the use of technology. It must be clear to the teacher as to how to use it properly, and it also be clear to the teacher as to what are the tools or artificial intelligence to be used with in a classroom, so that it will be easier for the teachers to implement right strategies to cater the needs of different diversity of learning of our students. Speaking to what we call professional development, I still believe the fact that it is also important for teachers to improve their teaching styles in relation to the application of technology. So that means that we have to use technology not just for online classes, but we have to use technology as a means to help the students elevate their knowledge. Say, as for example, we have to improve our tasks, okay, or our activities. Say, as for example, before we only love to have, like, for example, hand paper tests, task based. But now we can use, like, for example, comparative essay, but the use of Google Forms and etc. So that means we teachers, not just only the teaching strategies, but also including our activities must be also be improved so that we can also improve the engagement of the student. All right. So this is one of our management practice because in our school, RMC provide professional development for our educators. That means we want to make it sure that before the teachers come inside in the classroom, they are holistically prepared. They know what they are doing, they know what they are talking, and they put passion when it comes to teaching. Now let's proceed to another management practices. Actually, this is just only like an example, or I mean, the picture itself, that is just only an example. And of course, courtesy to my colleagues, I just didn't put their faces there in respect to their privacy. However, best practices for maximizing learning outcomes. So, balancing technology with traditional teaching methods, blended learning approaches, encouraging critical thinking, and digital literacy skills. So, those are some of the requirements that we have to understand with. Now, let's delve into some best practices for maximizing learning outcomes through technological integration. Now, let me start first with what we called balancing technology with traditional teaching methods. So, with that regards, technology offers tremendous benefits because it's essential to strike a balance between digital and traditional teaching methods. So, of course, it is still a requirement that even if we are now in modern type of teaching, still we never forgotten the use of traditional teaching. It will be okay until up to this time to use those methods in a combination way. Going back to what I was saying, blended learning approaches combine the best of both worlds, integrating technology into classroom instruction while preserving valuable face to face interaction between teachers and students. Because I believe, like, for example, right now, my students, and I would like to acknowledge my students in here. They're now joining the live. So, some of my students right now, they are trying their best to join and to be interactive, even if this is not physically we are not physically in contact, but rather we are just only having online classes. Okay. However, we're still able to engage from one another. We connect from one another and we share different wisdom from one another. And I believe that is one of the most important thing. Okay. So aside from balancing technology in traditional teaching method, do not forget to put certain approaches that really necessitate what is only required for your classes. Now let's proceed to what we call encouraging critical thinking and digital literacy skills. We must prioritize, of course, what we call the development of critical thinking and digital literacy skills in our students. So, as they navigate an increasingly complex digital landscape, it's really essential that they possess the skills to critically evaluate information, think analytically, and communicate effectively in different digital formats. So meaning to say, it's very important that we teacher, we establish clear policy as to how we use technology in the classroom. And it's very important that the students, it's also clear for them to really understand how to use the following things. And now let me share to you the lesson takeaways of my discussion for today. Now let me discuss first with what we call strategic integration of technology. We have to understand that education must be strategically integrate technology to enhance learning outcomes and prepare students for the future. That's why they are here in the institution for them to be ready, and so that when they graduate, they embody different core values, or yeah, core values of the institution, that they can apply it in a long-term basis. Next is what we call evolution of educational technology. That means that even if we have traditional classroom before, we're still able to navigate the complexity of what is new today. That means we have to combine two approaches in order for us to improve the way we teach and the way we learn. And also, that's the only way for us to bridge the gap of the learning towards to our students. Next is professional development for educators. I believe that this is one of the best lesson takeaway that I can share with everyone, that every institution must put in mind that professional development of our education also prepares them to shape the minds of our students. That means that ongoing professional development is crucial for educators to effectively leverage technology in the classroom, ensuring that every student has the opportunity to succeed. Next is our best practices. That means this will help us, our institution, to achieve our mission, our vision, and also our core values. More so, since I am talking about integrating integrating technology in education, let me talk about these two learning outcomes that we can use also from other different institutions. Number one is the balance approach. That means that we have to strive for a balance between technology and traditional teaching methods through blended learning approaches. Next is critical thinking and digital literacy. It means that we have to prioritize the development of critical thinking and digital literacy skills to equip students for success in digital age. So these takeaways that I share to everyone encapsulate the essence of the discussion and actually provide actionable insight for educators and also stakeholders. This means that we have to navigate the future of education through technological integration. That means that in order for us to achieve excellence, we have to nurture it first. In that way, we have to support our teachers, and this group of teachers will now play a significant role to improve the education of every institution. Because I believe that one of the best ingredients in teaching is we have competent teachers. And of course, I believe that having a competent teachers, it's also important that we have what we call passionate with full of wisdom. Okay, that means that the teacher comes with not just only knowledge, but also wisdom and teaching. So that means going back to my discussion, okay, going back to my discussion for today, navigating the future of education, strategies for success towards technological integration and education. That means that we can shape and achieve success in education by empowering each of the stakeholders in our institution. With that regards, thank you so much, everyone, for listening for my discussion for today. These are the references that I use in my presentation. And once again, thank you so much. And also thank you to Dr. Ermina for inviting and extending an invitation despite of what we call time difference. We still able to continue this professional talk or discussion so that at least we can share something to other people, to other expert, and also to our students. And also I would like to get this opportunity to say thank you to my student for joining our live stream for today. Once again, thank you so much to everyone and also to Dr. Ermina. Okay, so I will now give the floor to Dr. Ermina. Doc.